Hello everyone and welcome back to a little bit more coverage of Deep Rock Galactic, the board game. Today we're going to do Mission 2, which is called Unexplored Opportunities. The goals are still largely the same compared to the first mission. This time it's 6 Morkite we need to collect though, which is this colour of resource right there. And we also, in all the question mark markers, need to find 4 alien fossils, of which there is 4. And then there's a loot bug, some red sugar, which is for healing, and a plant, I don't remember what it does offhand. In the game you just collect it to make beer. So it's set up, and the new mechanic that it adds is unknown caves. There's 2 of them, one to the top left, one to the very top right. You get a bunch of these boards that are all the same shape with the game, and you randomize them. You put one down face down so you don't know what it is. You put one of the question marks on it when you're setting up the map, and you don't know what it is until you break through. Then you flip it over. It will definitely have at least one flare location to put the question mark item on. It might have enemies, it might have a new spawn location, it might have spawn location 3, and a bunch of other stuff like that. So we're going to get started. I'm starting once again on difficulty 3, so our tracker down here is close. It's 2 away from the first swarm. We'll take a look at the grenades and rock and stone cards, because once again I've randomized them, and then we'll get on with it. So first things first, for the scout, his randomized grenade is a cluster grenade, and his rock and stone card, if I come around this side, is, if you don't rock and stone, okay, we saw this last time, you ain't coming home, so you can reroll a mining die, which might be relevant. Random grenade for the engineer is a satchel charge again, and the rock and stone card is, I think we might actually get out of this alive, distribute up to 2 health from the general supply to other dwarves. So presumably you have to actually have a supply pod down that has some health in it, but you get to heal your friends. That's pretty good. And let's do the gunner next. His grenade is a corrosive bomb, range 4, and it's pretty big. All targets inside the blast radius suffer 1 damage. You don't need to roll. Interesting. Rock and stone card is we rock. All other dwarves draw a throwable if they have none. So that's a way to replenish grenades. The driller has a lure grenade, so that's to lure enemies to. It's a decoy. And the rock and stone card is rock solid. Deal 1 additional damage when attacking a creature. We saw that last time. Very useful card. Alright, let's go into the first turn. So the first video hasn't gone live yet, so I'm just going to assume that I do have to stick to the clockwise order I established. And to make sure I don't forget it this time, because I'm pretty sure I mixed up 2 last time, I'm going to go in the order in which I have my boards, from top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. So it's going to be scout, gunner, engineer, driller. Scout's going first. He's going to do a move, and he's going to move out of the drop pod and immediately walk onto this square to see what is here. It is the, that's not an apoca bloom, it's I don't remember what name it is. I'm going to have to check what that does. We'll do that in a second. For now though, I just wanted him to quickly check that. Thanks to his grapple hook, he can just go across gaps as well. So I'm kind of just wanting him to handle down here for me and hope that nothing spawns on him. So using his grapple, 1, 2, 3. He's going to check this question mark as well. Standing on it. And it is a loot bug who I refuse to hurt. So he will be innocent and left alone. And then we'll move again for his third action. 1, 2, 3. Onto this question mark. Not had much luck so far, but there's only 1 non-fossil, so this better not be it. Okay, so that's a fossil. We've collected 1. I'm just going to keep them between all my player boards down here so I know how many I have. That's 1 of 4 we need. His turn's already over. We're going to draw an event card right here, and it's, fast critters. Increase swarm threat by 1. Can do. If this didn't trigger a swarm, it did not. All creatures move and attack. Okay, so there is 2 grunts starting on the map. They move 3 though, so they're not going to get into range. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. They're allowed to walk over gaps because they crawl along the walls. Not so bad. That ruled out the bottom cave essentially. The scout, my plan is to just make it, it would have been better to send the driller I suppose, but if we just get him to drill through the wall here, he can meet up with the rest of the team. But I've realised there's actually a Morkite over there that I need to get, because there is only 6 Morkite on the map. Can't ignore any of it. So the gunner's going to go next, but very quickly, that plant we picked up, hopefully this is still in focus, means you can draw a rock and stone card. So this is the scouts. I'm not sure if it doesn't say you replace the one they already have if they have one, but I'll take this and just use both at one point probably. Play at any time to lose 1 health, then discard the current event and ignore its effects. That's interesting. Okay, but only event cards, not swarm cards. Got it. So, Gunner is going to immediately murderize this grunt here. Let's just do it with this secondary ammo, because the grunts don't have any armor. So I'll get rid of 1 secondary ammo to fire 1 blue die at him. I think there's only 1 blank on here. We didn't find it, thankfully. So that just splatters him. Goodbye. Then, where are we going to send him? We'll do a move. 1, 2, 3. We'll do a move here. And we'll shoot the pistol again for his 3rd action, so his pistol's down to 1 ammo already. I'm saving the minigun for something nastier. Oh no, he rolled a blank. Well, he shot, he moved, and he missed. He doesn't have anything that would help that, so it's just over to his event card. Glowing walls. Place 1 gold in the wall closest to you. If several walls are equal, you can choose and then increase swarm, which is going to cause a swarm to happen. So there's going to be a bit of gold, I guess, here. It's equidistant with 2 other potential spaces. First though, swarm card. Nasty stuff. It is Slash and Smash. Place 1 slasher at exit 1 and 2 grunts each. And 2 grunts at 2 and 3. Activate all creatures. So 2 is up here, 1 is down here. I'll go look at those enemies. This grunt here is just going to move. It doesn't say the attack, so he's just moving into point blank range. So that's the enemies on the board. One thing I think I did wrong last time is that you are actually supposed to use the exit itself as one of the spawn points. I was putting all the enemies around as opposed to the first enemy goes on the spawn point and the rest go around. So fix that this time. The engineer is up next, and I'm not sure what I want him to do. Let's see. I'm also not 100% sure if you're allowed to dig out from the pod, because when they all leave the pod it flips over to a normal cave. So I presume that's allowed, because we're probably going to do that with the driller. The engineer though, 1, 2, 3 to come here. And then we don't want to use his grenade launcher because we'll kill ourselves. We'll use some secondary ammo, which is 2 green dice for his Voltic SMG. I'm using the same secondaries as last time, incidentally. I showed them, but I didn't say. And that'll kill him. Goodbye. Now, I don't think there's enough room to put down a turret, so... Although, actually, if I send the driller around the outside of the map to get that Morkite instead of making the scout do it, just having a turret watch spawn point number 1 might not be a bad idea. He's moved his shot. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, 1 primary ammo going away to place down his turret right there, and it will react to any enemy activating or moving within 3 of him. And because it's blocking the way, they'll have to destroy it before getting past. So that's it for the engineer. His card. More grunts. Place a grunt at exits 2 and 3, but not exit 1. So that is another one up here. Oh, did it say activate them? It did. Well, grunts move 3, slashers move 3. This slasher is going to get point blank with the scout. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's a lot of enemies bearing down on them. The turret can see one of them that ended its move here. So let's see, what do you roll for that? Let's see. Center gun has range 3. I think it was 1 green die. I can't quite remember now. I'm going to have to go double check. Well, I'm going to definitely check now. If it was a green die, it's a miss. Yep, that is the correct die, sadly. So we're on to the driller's turn. I wanted him to just go drilling through the wall, to be honest. But with so many enemies bearing down, I'm going to have to expend some primary ammo to shoot the flamer at the grunt right in front of him and hope that it can spread. That's 3 yellow dice. We'll apply the first hit to the first one, and then adjacent, the other one burns as well. Like that. Removing those 2. The other enemies are going to get the chance to attack, I think. He's got 2 actions left. He's going to go 1, 2, has to stop because he's drilled into a wall, and then for his 3rd action, he's going to drill into that wall right there. I'll put down squares in a second off camera. Let's do his event card. Mission specific event. Is it the same as last time? That's a good question. Active Glyphids. Place a grunt at the tunnel exit of your choice and then activate all creatures. Well, I'm just going to put it back at 2 and then he's going to go 1, 2, 3 and end up right back there. That grunt's going to attack and that slasher is going to attack. So, I think it's just 1 die each. Yeah, no it's not. The slasher rolls 2. Grunt rolls 1 though, so let's do that first. Exclamation mark means no damage on a grunt. And this is for, well that's 2 hits for the other one. So that is 2 damage to the scout. Not great. Especially because he's got the card where he can lose more health to cancel an event card. But that's the round. So the top of the second round, scouts starting, and I'm going to use some secondary ammo because it's only range 2 and it rolls 2 blue dice, picking 1. No resistance on the slasher to these armor piercing dice, it's only normal dice. Obviously I'm going to pick the double hit. He has 2 health I think, yeah he does. So the slasher is splatted because I needed him out of there, he does too much damage. And for the scout's second action, he's going to move here, and then he's going to do a pickaxe action, hopefully getting a 2 to bust open a wall here, and then also the stalagmite, he did. So that's going to get that niter, which I'll just again put to one side so I know I've got it. And I'm going to break open this to remove that, which means we roll the reward die, see what we get. Oh, I forgot to put the gold in the corner over there. I'll do that off camera in a second because we've got to look out some more. So he's going to end up there where the niter was. We'll just do his event card now and then I'll go put all that on the table, hopefully remembering this time, including the gold. They're closing in, increase the swarm threat by 1. Boom. It didn't trigger the swarm, so you activate all creatures. Oof. Well, the gunner is getting attacked twice. I'll just roll both dice, but they're both individual attacks. 1 hit, 1 missed. So the gunner takes 1 damage. So as we begin the gunner's turn, I forgot one of those grunts moved within 3 of the turret. So this turret, 1, 2, 3. I'm pretty sure dwarves don't block the shot of the turret, but I could be wrong. And he did actually get it this time. Grunts don't have defense, so this grunt is dead, but there's still another one. That might have meant he was the one who did the attack that missed. Can't go back and fix that. So it's the gunner's turn. We are not making a lot of forward progress so far, to be honest. He will use the last of his ammo in his secondary to hopefully blow the other grunt away. So he's out of ammo for his revolver now. But 1 in 6 chance to actually miss. No, thankfully not. Splat. And then, let's see. So that's 1 action for him. Second action will be to check this question mark. It's red sugar, which I believe will just restore his health. So I'll just do that now because that's what it does in the video game. It's a health restorant. And then he will, I guess he's going to the left corridor. I need to kind of split the dwarves up. So yeah, he'll mine, and he'll just try and mine out the non-gold hex. And he did it. And that'll be his last action. I'll just grab it now. So he is putting a hex right here. My goal is for him to go to the left chamber, the engineer to kind of meet up with the scout, and the driller to go top right. I think it's the only way to do it in time. So, gunner card. Collapsing floor. The floor gives away below you. Roll the 2 enemy dice. Double crit. Okay, ignore any damage result, but if you roll a crit, you become, you fall prone, which I believe means you need to use an action to stand up. I'll double check though. You accidentally uncover a piece of lost gear in the cave pocket below though, so take a random upgrade token. Oh, so it's not all bad then. So upgrade tokens you usually have to find. I'll just shuffle them around in the box over here and then randomly draw one without looking. It was ignore armor. Now, oh, sorry, it's not even on camera. It was an ignore armor one, which, or whatever, yeah. So the minigun now ignores a bit of armor. So falling over and being placed prone is actually a lot worse than I thought. It costs 2 actions to stand up or 1 action for a different dwarf to help you. So the engineer's going to activate, he's going to move, he's going to help the gunner to his feet for 1 action, and then he's going to go 1, 2, and stop right there. It's not much of a turn, but what can you do? Because I want it only cost him 1 action, not 2, so it's straight to event card because his turn got eaten up. I said stop spitting, activate all creatures. If no creatures are in play, spawn a web spitter. There is no creatures in play. I'm just debating whether or not to cancel this out. I'm going to take 1 damage on the scout to cancel this out. I don't want a ranged target because I'm pressed for time getting to the stuff we need. So that is using up the For Carl card. That's now gone, but he still has the other one. It's also going to be a really, really easy turn for the driller. Move once, ends turn, or ends that action. Moves again, ends action because he's drilling into the wall. Collects the first bit of the Morkite we actually need. Let me just get these tiles here because it might matter that these are now linked, because that could be the shortest possible route for an enemy to go after him. So he would be standing here. He has 1 action left. 1, 2, 3. He is just in the walls. Insert GIF here. And event card for the driller. They're closing in. Increase the swarm threat by 1. Done. If it didn't trigger a swarm, it did not. Activate all creatures. There are no creatures. It's a brief respite. So we're already back round to the scout, who is only on 2 health, so it's not great. He is immediately doing a mining action, which I hope you can see this dice down here. Yep, oh, I didn't have a square ready. He is blowing a hole in the wall here for that action, like so. So now those 2 routes are connected as well. Then he's doing a move action, 1, 2, 3, and he's going to do a mining action again for that good old Morkite there to make progress towards us actually winning. And he failed, so he'll use his other Rock and Stone card to re-roll. If you don't rock and stone, you ain't coming home. Alright, he gets to come home. Oh yeah, I didn't get any confirmation because the first video hasn't gone live yet as to whether or not when you break open the wall like this, the resource sits on the floor and you have to step onto it. I presume you don't, based purely on the video game. When you mine a wall, you don't have to walk onto the wall. The resource kind of falls into you. So that's my the only criteria I'm going by for it automatically being collected rather than you having to walk onto the square it was on. That could be wrong, but that feels like such a waste of actions. Either way, event card. Grabber attack. Okay. So Grabber swoops in and tries to fly off with you. Each dwarf within attack range can make a free attack action to stop it. 1 hit needed. The engineer will expend 1 secondary ammo to try and take it out with the Voltic SMG, because otherwise he's chucking a grenade launcher, and that's not a good idea. Doesn't have any armor. 1 hit needed. Okay. So that is done. Otherwise he would have fallen, and he would have not been able to get up easily. Which is okay, because it's not spawning new enemies. We're getting quite lucky here. Right up at the top of the board here, the gunner is moving for 1, mining for 2. Succeeded, not into the gold. I'm trying to bust through here, and I believe that immediately opens up the cave because the path is now there with 1 action left. So we're going to have to flip over this mysterious cave and see what it is, like so. I'm not sure if you would place it the same way or if you would turn it around then. I presume it would be like that then, because that's how it was. So that goes there. There is 2 stalagmites, there is an upgrade, a randomly selected upgrade, and also 2 grunts. And he still has 1 action left, so I have the 2 grunts here. I'll need to look out the upgrade. But for his last action, 1, 2, 3. He's willing to face the grunts. Now watch as the card I draw inevitably activates them. Mission specific event, which was the place a grunt at the tunnel exit of your choice and then activate all creatures. I will place it down at area 1 because we ain't going down there anymore. It's out of sight, out of mind. He's going to move into base to base with the gunner, so is he, placing the gunner very much in danger. But I'm sure the engineer, no, the engineer ain't helping him. I'm sure the driller, no, the driller's not helping him either. Yeah, he's in danger. Well, I was going to have the engineer handle the left cave with the scout. I think the scout's got it. He just needs to get that Morkite in the wall. So the engineer is going to go help the gunner. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. That gives him eyes on. And is he going to use... He's got 1 bit of secondary ammo left, so I'll use that to shoot the grunt here in the back. Gets him. He doesn't have any resistances. Then he has 1 action left. I'm okay with this turret staying where it is. He can't fire the grenade launcher because he'll hit the gunner with it. There's no spawn point in there. Yeah, he's safe to move in, I think. 1, 2, 3 over here, and then his event card. It's a loot bug. Add a loot bug from the general supply to an empty ground square if it's not adjacent to any dwarves. I'm not going to do that because I will not harm a loot bug, but I will increase the swarm threat by 1. If it goes up one more time, we draw another swarm. So over here, our driller, first action, 1, 2, walks into the wall for 3. Has to end his movement action, although it was the last step anyway. And then he's going to do the same again, which ends his movement instantly. Also fills in this, which means it also fills in the cave. So we're just going to flip it, because that's much easier than what I tried to do with the other one. Like that. And what do we have here? We have got a nastier spawn of something, a stalagmite, an upgrade, and the question mark is there. Oh, that's interesting. There's a chasm around this edge, which is where the resources are, so annoyingly the driller can't get them. The engineer or the scout or the gunner all have means by which to get across chasms. The driller has to go around them. That's very annoying. I'm going to place that enemy to see what it is first, because I'm not 100% sure based on the picture. I think it's a slasher. No, actually no, it's a spitter. So yeah, the last action for the driller is probably going to be to shoot it. Yep, it is a spitter, so 1 more ammo from primary for 3 burn dice. Burn him! He's got 2 health. He does, but that's enough. So the spitter is gone. That is it for the driller's turn, and indeed the round. So let's see if we trigger that swarm or not. Very annoying. Of all the cards I had to draw, it was one where, or tiles, it was one where he couldn't actually get the thing I sent him for. Place 1 web spitter at exit 1. All other creatures activate. Okay. So that spitter comes back. He goes back first before the activation, so that grunt would still be on the spawn at the bottom of the map, which you can't see. We just come over here. So he doesn't activate. The grunt does. His closest target is the turret. Yes, it's the turret. That's the only criteria in which a monster or a creature goes for the turret, is if there's no other option in line of sight. The scout was not in line of sight because of this gap here, I think. Either way, turret shooting at him, gets him. Splat. Unfortunately, the other grunt on the map is attacking the gunner. Ooh, and it hits him. Nothing we can do about that. And it's 1 more damage to the gunner. And not so bad. It didn't raise the swarm counter. Back round to the near dead scout. He is doing a little bit of shenanigan movement here. He's doing 1, 2, so that he steps on this, and it is one of the fossils we need. So that's 2 out of 4. He's doing a mining action to get that morkite. Yes, he is. So we're taking that. What's he doing with his last action though? I guess he'll go 1, 2, and then next turn we'll bust through the wall there. I'm not going to bother putting a gap down where that morkite is, because we're not going to do any more tunnels off the back of it. So his turn's done. Let's draw this. There you go, boom! Activate all creatures. If no creatures are in play, place an exploder. Thank goodness there is creatures in play. Bad news is though, grunt attacks gunner and hits him. Ooh, 1 more damage to the gunner. Now the spitter, it's got range 5 but it has no eyes. Oh, actually it would totally spit at the turret. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it would. It rolls 2 dice. It destroys the turret. You can place it again, but the turret is gone. It's time to start cracking out the minigun. First ammo of the minigun gone. Rolling 3 green against 1 puny grunt, and he rolled 3 blanks. Is there anything you can do about that? No. Nope, no. Okay, he's going to expend another bit of ammo. Does not count as an action because of his minigun roll. Still have to use the ammo up though. There you go. So first action, killed grunt eventually. Second action, he's moving on to the question mark and the upgrade. I randomized this. So you roll an extra green die and it gives the gun stun, is what I think that means. We don't actually have 4 green dice. The game only comes with 3, so I'm not sure how that works. I guess we'll just re-roll 1. He's also walking on that. It is one of the fossils we need. Although we kind of knew that because we had all the other results, didn't we? Yes. So that means he's here with one action left. I guess we'll start moving him back. 1, 2, 3. We'll leave the engineer to handle getting the Morkite in there because the engineer is alive. We don't actually have enough for a resupply. I think we need 2 more niter. It's gonna blow. Place 3 grunts at exit 1 and 1 exploder at exit 2 and then activate all creatures. Oh dear. We're doing a good job avoiding the swarm cards, but the spawn cards are still nasty. So the nearest threat, they can't see anybody. I guess the nearest threat would be the scout. So the web spitter moves 3. 1, 2, 3. That gives him line of sight, but he can't attack this turn. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There is no one else. Well, they can't see anyone, but the scout is the closest threat. The exploder moves 3. 1, 2, 3. Because the gunner is the closest target for him. And now it's over to the engineer, and he's just doing some drilling, or some mining I should say. So we can just stick with this. He's just moving against the wall here, and then mining twice, or once hopefully if he gets a double pickaxe. He didn't, he got a single, so I'll just roll the other one now. Of course he got a double on that one. I guess we'll destroy this bit of scenery to hopefully get some niter. It's a blank, which I believe just literally means you get nothing. He did blow open both those walls though, meaning that there's 1 Morkite left to collect and 1 fossil. But the problem is, the driller can only get the fossil. He can't actually drill the wall because of the stupid hole in the floor. Event card. A slasher emerges. Place it on an empty ground space adjacent to you if possible. Dwarves within attack range each receive a free attack action against it if it survives it attacks. Well, the gunner is in attack range, and so is the engineer obviously because it's spawning next to him. Well, I presume you're allowed to place the... Oh, we'll use an AP grenade. That doesn't have AoE. So that's 2 red dice, pick 1. This is to save me spawning it. Yeah, okay. Double hit. He has no resistance to that, so the slasher will just get killed. And it's going to be a nothing burger of a turn for the driller. 1, 2... I presume he gets stopped by the stalagmite getting drilled in the same way a wall would. And then he's walking onto this. It's going to be the last fossil. And then for his final action from there, it'd be 1, 2, 3. Because he's just going back to where the pod would be. For that stalagmite he destroyed though, we do get to roll the reward die. Nothing twice in a row. Okay, on to his event card, which I'm sure will spawn a swarm. Unsettling rumblings. Increase the swarm threat by 1. If it didn't trigger a swarm, nope, no need to read on, because yes it did. Let's see how bad it is. Web spitter. Place 1 web spitter at exit 2 and 2 grunts each at exits 1 and 3, then activate all creatures. Sorry, there we go. There's the card. Well, the dwarves are certainly in danger. So, the spitter actually has range on the scout, so he's not going to move, he's going to attack, but that means the grunts behind him can't get past him. So they're just going to move this way, I believe, because enemies don't walk through enemies. So they're going to start just all as a horde of grunts. Oops. Going all the way up there. So for the spitter, he rolls 2 dice. If he gets a crit, he slows the dwarf. Not sure what that means offhand. Of course he gets a crit. Does it do damage though? I don't think it does. I think it just does the slow effect, which means... Just look here real quick. You cannot move on your next turn, but you can still carry out other actions. Oof. That's actually pretty bad. The exploder, thankfully, still has to move to get into base to base, so it's not actually exploding, but he can't be killed at point blank range. And then this spitter is going to come down here as well. Some of these enemies need to get cleared. Well, now that the scout can't move, it's going to be a bit of a problem. I guess he's just going to kill the spitter that slowed him down. Let's use some primary ammo. He's not used any yet. And let's use burst fire. So we roll the 2 and we pick 1. We'll take the double hit in order to get the kill. His other actions... what can he do? I guess he'll bust a hole in the wall behind him so that he can get through to help out the gunner if he needs. And yes, he can. He's not allowed to move. So that's it. Just try and quickly slot that in like that. There we go. And it's just his event card then. tough spot. Optional, if not prone, lose 1 health to get the ammo crate, fully restock a weapon of your choice. Scout doesn't need it. So, I presume it's the dwarf drawing the card it applies to and them alone. So, at least it didn't spawn or activate enemies. Alright, I'm going to do something potentially stupid with the gunner. I'm not going to move him back before killing the exploder in front of him. 1 primary ammo. I do have a reason for doing this, incidentally. I'm not just doing it for no reason. So 3 green dice, he got the 1 success, it doesn't have resistance, and it has 1 health, so it does die, it explodes, and does red dice around it. So, to the dwarf, it would make a run away. I presume that doesn't apply to a dwarf, I'll double check in a second, I've got the page open. And to the web spur, it does 2 damage and kills it, which is what I was hoping for, but that also was not the only reason I did that. Let me just check if it says it does something to a dwarf. Move any affected creatures 2 spaces away. It deals no damage. Dwarves are not affected by the symbol. Okay, perfect. And then his second action is 1, 2, 3. And his third and final action is to use his corrosive bomb. All targets inside the blast radius suffer 1 damage. No roll required. It's got range 4, so we can throw it 1, 2, 3, 4. Splat there. It's gonna wait, if he puts it there, yeah, there, that square, it catches all but 1 of them, it deals 1 flat damage, and boom, 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 boom. It's a one-time use, it's gone now, but he does have or someone has the rock and stone card that lets us draw another one if need be. But that's how you clear some grunts, and then we draw an event card for him. Which hopefully did I have the camera facing the right bit? Yes I did, thank goodness. Volatile creatures, increase swarm threat by 1. Done. If it didn't trigger a swarm, it didn't. Place an exploder at the exit closest to a dwarf. To a dwarf. No matter how you cut it, that's still exit 2. That's up here again. That was the best possible result for that turn, for the gunner there. That was really good. Ammo is starting to run a bit dry. Engineer is activating. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. And then he'll punt a grenade at the exploder. He's got 2 primary ammo left after this. And we'll make it an EP grenade. Roll 2, pick the best result. So 2 red dice. We'll take the double hit no matter what, because that kills him, and the explosion does nothing, because there's nobody around to get affected by it. We just need to go up and get that last Morkite. And then we're out of here. Well, then we have to escape, of course, but grunts everywhere. Place a grunt at exit 2. That's right there, unfortunately. Just comes out the wall right there. And we're 2 away from another swarm card. So our friend the driller doesn't really have anything to do. I guess he'll just do 3 drill actions to go 1, 2, 3. It'll fill in those 3, and it means next turn he can get the last Morkite. Everyone else will just hold the ground for the pod arriving. I don't see anything else for him to do, so we'll just draw a event card. I'll fill those in a second. Bugs, bugs, bugs. Increase the swarm threat by 2. But no further than the next swarm card. Okay, so it does trigger the swarm then, because it was 2 away, annoyingly. Swarm card, oops, took 2 by accident. Grunts, grunts everywhere. Place 2 grunts at each tunnel exit and then activate all creatures. 2 grunts at each exit. I think I have that looked out already. Yes, I do. Activate all creatures. So this one's going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Oh, actually no, they would go after the... Let me spawn them in first. So 3 there. The scout is closest, 1, 2, 3. Actually the gunner is kind of equidistant now. We'll split them up. And then it was 3, right? Sorry, 2. He's not there. The other ones are there and there. So they are all... Well, 2 out of the 3 are getting in base contact, so some of them need to die next turn. At least the scout can move this time. Now I absolutely have been forgetting that the scout could be doing free action shots after moving. But either way, primary ammo to shoot this grunt down here. I'm just trying to keep the enemy numbers down. Kills him. Then he's doing a move. He has a grapple hook, so he can just go 1, 2, 3. I'm not 100% sure if he's allowed to see that grunt. I think not, because of the gap. So he'll do another move to just next to him. And he'll expend some shotgun ammo, the second, which is roll 2, pick one. Doesn't matter. No matter which one he picks, the grunt dies. So that was shoot, move, move with the free action shoot. So yeah, his turn's done. And don't go too close. Place an exploder at exit 2. All other creatures activate. So the exploder that just refuses to stay dead appears. All other creatures activate. So he just gets into base to base. The other two, or rather one of the other three, can't move because he can't get to a dwarf. But the engineer's getting hit once. Nope. The driller's getting hit once. Whoa. That's cool. Also not getting any damage there. So once again we got pretty lucky. So I'm going to move the gunner to just about where the drop pod is. This is the drop pod. So that's where it's reappearing. And I'm going to have him shoot at the exploder with 1 primary ammo, leaving him with 1 left. 2 successes and a blank. It has no resistance, so it explodes. Does it take out a grunt with it? It causes it to flee, which there's not really enough room for it to move. So I don't know if it would. I guess it would move back 1 square now that it's gone. That's 1 action. Second action, he will pickaxe the grunt next to him. Kills it because it has no resistance, and he moved. So that is his 3 actions. He's just prepping to leave. The driller's going to get the last Morkite in his turn, and then he just needs to run. So we just need to stay alive. We shouldn't run out of time, it's just we're running out of ammo. Sticky Spitter, increase the swarm threat by 1. Yes. If it didn't trigger a swarm, it did not. Place a web spitter at the axis closest to a dwarf. So the spitter is going to pop up right where it's most annoying, really. Right there in that cluster. For the engineer, he is going to pickaxe. Got 2 successes on the grunt's head in front of him. He is going to move to there, and then he's going to punt a grenade onto that spitter with the hopes of murdering the whole bunch. He's got 1 primary ammo left after this. It is a roll. Oh, well, you roll for each one though, don't you? Well, I was going from left to right. So now that's the spitter, he's on 1 health, and the other grunt. So 1 grunt runs away, but he has nowhere to run. This grunt died, and 1 health to the spitter, leaving him on 1 health. Not ideal. It's okay. And that was 3 actions. Wait, was that 3 actions? Yes, pickaxe, move, fire. Yep. Event card. Starch Nuts. Optional. If not prone, draw 2 rock and stone cards. Increase the swarm threat by 1. No. Don't need the rock and stone cards. Time and ammo are what we need here. Thankfully didn't activate any enemies. We can quickly do the driller's turn, because we just come over here a bit. He's literally just doing 3 movement actions. 1, 2, 3, which gets us a Morkite and a gold. That does all objectives, which means the drop pod reactivates, and now we just need to get out. Oh, I'll put down those tiles, come back, and then draw his event card. So that's how it's looking up there, and the event card is Dugout Surprise. Place a grunt on an empty ground space adjacent to you if possible. Yes, it would be in front of him. Dwarves within attack range can attack it. If it survives, it attacks you. Okay, let's do a secondary ammo from the driller himself to save me putting a grunt on the table. You roll 3 green, and it has to be the same target. You can't split shots. Doesn't matter for a grunt though. We got 2 successes, so the grunt would die. Perfect. Alright, we've got some easy quick turns here. Let's see. For the scout we're going to go 1, 2. That's a move action, which means he can make a free attack action. He's going to do so at the spitter with 1 health. We're going to roll 2 burst fire. Ooh, that's not good. I can still do it. He'll use a second action and another bit of ammo, which means he's out. Do it again. Thank you. Kill the spitter. Then for his last action, he is walking into the drop pod. And because he's in the drop pod, he doesn't draw an event card. Then, the gunner is going to shoot the grunt with his last primary ammo. which is 3 green. Gets it. He's walking into the drop pod, right here, which means we don't need to draw an event card, just as well. It gets a bit trickier now though, but not impossible. The engineer, he can make it back to the drop pod easily. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. No event card required. Then it's the driller, and he can't make it back, I think. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, he totally can. 1, 2, 3, 1. Never mind. We actually did make it back, and that is a win. So that is it for another mission of Deep Rock Galactic, the board game Mission 2 Unexplored Opportunities complete. I'm not sure how much more coverage of this I'm going to do on the channel, just because it does demand a lot of table space, and it is a very, very niche game amongst the other niche games I play, so I know there's probably not going to be much of an audience for this. And it was late arriving in the UK, so I'm sure plenty of other people have already played it through on camera. But you can always let me know. I'm finding it hard to find time to even paint up the dwarfs, that's the thing, so it might have to remain unpainted as well if I do play a bit more. What is the third mission involving anyway? Let me have a quick look. It's a bit smaller, but it has 3 unexplored caves all kind of adjacent to each other that will all show each other as soon as one of them is broken into. It also introduces the infected, the infectors, and the brood nexuses, so it adds tougher enemies. Either way though, thank you very much for watching. I sincerely hope you enjoyed Rock and Stone and all that. If you want to go above and beyond to support what I do here, please consider pressing the thanks button or becoming a channel member. It helps out, it's all reinvested in the channel and helps keep this possible. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. It's time for now.